let's start and we'll do a Shavuos Maimer. This is Maimorim Ulukotim. This is the 48th Maimer. The Rebbe said it the second day of Shavuos in the year Tovshin Chavches. The Maimer starts Vaydaber Elekim Eskol Advorim Ha'ela Lamer Anuchi of the beginning of the Aseres Hadibris. And then later on, this Maimer was published. The Rebbe looked it over, it was Magia, and it was published in the Kuntras of Chag HaShavuos in the year Tovshin Mem Tes, and this was published for the upcoming Yom Tov Shavuos, and the date on the publication is the days of Agbola Tovshin Mem Tes. Okay, this is the Maimer that the Rebbe spoke, and then later on it was published in Tovshin Mem Tes. A lot of these Maimorim were said earlier. So, like this was says in Chavches, was like 20 years before. But then they gave it to the Rebbe to be Magia, and they published it for the Yom Tov. All right, so let's look inside. B'sayte d'shmaya Yom Beis the Chag HaShavuos Tovshin Chavches. So the pasuk begins. Vidaber Elekim Eskol Hadvorim Ha'ela Lamer Anuchi Gomer. Hashem speaks all these things, all these words, and it starts the pasuk Anuchi Hashem Elikecha and all the 10 commandments. So the Rebbe is asking, why does it introduce Hashem spoke all these words? It should have said straight, Vaydaber Elekim, Anuchi Hashem Elikecha. What is meant as Kol Hadvorim Ha'ela, all these words? It doesn't have to say he spoke all these words and then say what they were. It could have said, Vaydaber Elekim, Anuchi. So the Alter Rebbe explains that Kol Hadvorim Ha'ela actually means more than just the sayings of the Aseres Hadibros. All of Torah is included in the Aseres Hadibros. So by Daber Elekim Eskol Advorim Ha'ela means all the words, meaning all of the Torah the Eibishter spoke. And the reason the Eila, because all of the Torah is included in the Aseres Hadibros. And Rashi has a little bit of a different interpretation. Rashi says that first the Eibishter spoke all the 10 dibres in one, b'dibur echad, and then he gave it in specific Anuchi Hashem Elikecha, the specific 10 dibres. But beginning it was Kol Advorim Ha'ela all in one dibur. But either case, the Rebbe wants to know why was Torah represented in a way that first we give it to you in a general way, and then you go to the details. Why is there not all the details right in the beginning? The Rebbe will explain that also in creation of the world was created in all the ways up to the highest level, as the Rebbe will explain. It first is in a general way, and then we come to the proto in this specific. Okay, let's look inside. We'll go inside step by step. Hashem speaks all these words, saying, and then it says, so the Alter Rebbe is medayik questions. Mahu oimrei eis kol hadvorim ha'ela. What does it mean when it says Hashem spoke all these words? It should have said Hashem said Anuchi. Instead of saying Hashem said all the words Anuchi, start right away with what Hashem says. Anuchi. Not as Kol Advorim Ha'ela Lamer. The Alter Rebbe explains the Kol Hadvorim Ha'ela. When it says he spoke all these things, Koi al Kol HaTorah Kulo. This refers to the entire Torah. By Daber Elekim as Kol Advorim Ha'ela means Hashem spoke all of Torah. And when we say all of Torah, we're not talking only Torah Shebiksav, we're not talking Torah Shebapeh, we're talking about Koilel Kol Ma Shetalmid Vosik Osid Lechadesh V'chulu, which includes anything that a studious student is going to in the future come up with an idea, that Elekim Eibishter already spoke those things. That means Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela. All the things, everything was given to Moshe Sinai. V'zehu Vidaber Elekim es Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela. And this is why it says Hashem spoke all these words, the Ba'aseres Hadibres, Anchy v'Gomer, because in the following, in the 10 sayings, Nichlal Kol HaTorah Kula, that all of the Torah is included, Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela, all these things. So the Torah begins, the Eibishter spoke everything, not only what's going to follow, not only the 10 commandments, but everything the Eibishter spoke. That is all included in the 10 commandments that follow. That's why it says, as Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela. But the Rebbe says now the same thing is true in the Pashta Pshat, like Rashi learns. That there too, it's also what's included in Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela, the general, and then we talk about the details. V'yesh lekasher zeh, in Pirush Rashi ala Posik, we can tie this, connect this to Rashi and the Posik. Rashi explains the Mashe Kosuv es Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela koidem lo Anchy Gomer. Rashi, why does it say that Hashem spoke Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela before it says Anchy? Hu lelamed, to teach us shekol aseres hadibros nemru tchilo b'dibur echad, that all of the 10 saying in the beginning they were said with one. By daber elekim es Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela means all these 10 sayings that are spoken at once b'dibur echad. The achar kach hozar upiresh kol dibur v'dibur v'nei atzmei, and then he repeated and he explained, articulated every saying and saying by itself. So it became 10 separate sayings. So what's the connection between the toichnom shel shnei hapirushim hu? What is the idea, the contents of these both explanations, Rashi's and the Alter Rebbe's? Shenisinas haTorah hoiso b'derech klal uprat, that the Torah was given in a general way and a specific way, meaning Kol Hadvarim Ha'ela and then specific. Elo, the difference is, Shelefi Pirush Rashi, according to Rashi, the general is what Medaber HaKosuf, Ba'aseres Hadibres Atzmam. The Pasuk is talking of the 10 sayings themselves. Shemitchilo Nemru B'Bchinas Klal. In the beginning, they were said in a general way, Dibur Echad. Ve'achar kach nifretu kol dibur v'dibur b'fnei atzmei. And then they were detailed, every dibur b'fnei atzmei. The klal is all the 10 sayings together, b'dibur echad. And then the prat is each one by itself. Ulefi pirush admur hazokin, but according to the interpretation of the Alter Rebbe, medaber hakosu ba'aprotim the Torah. The Torah's, the Pasuk talks about the details of Torah, not the Aseres HaDibros, that all the details of Torah, shegam heim nitnu tchila b'bchinas klal b'Aseres HaDibros. They too were originally given as a general in the Aseres HaDibros. Vaydaber kol hadvarim includes all of Torah. V'achar kach nifretu v'nimshuchu begilu. And then they were detailed and they were brought out, they extended openly. We have all of the Torah and all of the details. Now the Rebbe says, even the way it was extended in the details of Torah, it also comes klal uprat, because you have Mishnah is the klal, and then you have the Gemara, First you have Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal Peh, you have the Mishnah and the Gemara, and so on and so forth. Everything comes first in a general way, and then it comes in a detailed way. So v'yesh lahoisif. We could add shegam ze gufa. Even this also, when it comes in details, it didn't come all of a sudden all details at once. Hapirud v'agilu daseres hadibres, the specification, the revelation of the 10 sayings. Hoya ba'ofen the klalu prat. It also comes in a way, first in a general and then a specific. The beginning of the extending and the detailing of the 10 sayings. So that's in a general way. It starts with Torah Shebiksav. After that, Nifrat Biprotius Yoser B'Torah Shebal Peh, and then it's detailed with more details in the oral Torah. The oral Torah, the Torah Shebal Peh, is a detail from the Torah Shebiksav. In the Gemara, whenever the Gemara says a statement, the Gemara asks, Mino Hani Milib, where do you know these words? Who tells you so? And the Gemara says, because the Pasuk says. So the Gemara brings out halachas that is based on the pasuk. So that means that the Torah Shebal Peh is a detail of the Torah Shebiksav. The Chol HaTorah Shebal Peh Hi Pirush Ubiur the Torah Shebiksav. All of the oral Torah is a commentary and an explanation of the written Torah. As the pasuk says, as the Gemara always uses, how do you know this? Amar Kra, the pasuk says. That means that it comes from the pasuk. So we see it wasn't revealed straight in the Torah Shebal Peh. First it comes in Torah Shebiksav. Torah Shebiksav is the general, and then you learn it out more specific in Torah Shebal Peh. And also, V'gaba Torah Shebal Peh Gufa, and within the Torah Shebal Peh itself, it's also in a way of klal uprat, because you have Mishnah, Braisa, Gemara, v'chulu. The Mishnah, the Braisa is a detail of the Mishnah. The Gemara is a more detail than the Mishnah and the Braisa. Ad kol mashe talmid v'osid osid l'chadish, until everything that a studious student will come up with, a novelty, that's all that's the detail of what's been in the general, in the Torah Shebal Peh, as it comes out in the details. Hakol nitel Moshe Misina. Everything was given to Moshe Misina. V'tzorich lohavi. So we need to understand, why does the details, why do they come after first there is the general, and then we give the details? Why not start off, give all the details right away? Why is it presented in a way of first you have a general, and then from the general we come to the specifics as it goes down the line? What's the reason? We need to understand. Since all details of Torah, also until what the students will come up, all these Hakol Nitla Moshe Sinai, this was all given to Moshe by Sinai. So Moshe Rabbeinu at that time knew all the details. Why does it come out in such a way? Why wouldn't they give it openly? All the mitzvahs, all the chidushim, everything that Moshe Rabbeinu gave, that the Eibishter gave over to Moshe, should give it l'chatchila instead of waiting for it to come out. Why were they given in the beginning in a way of a general, and then only later it comes out in the details? So the Rebbe brings out over here in this ois that the kol hadvarim is the general, and the Alter Rebbe says is the general of all Torah, and then this is which is connected in the Ankhy Hashem Elikecha, that's the details. The Rebbe explained how Torah is revealed. It goes always from a klal to a prat. And the Rebbe asks why. Why does it have to be in a klal and a prat? Why can't we have all the details right away? And the Rebbe will now bring out that the same thing is with the creation of the world. The Eibishter didn't create the world all the details. He creates it in a general way. And then it comes out in specifics. We say, Basora Mamoris, there are 10 sayings, similar corresponding to the 10 sayings of the Eibishter corresponding to the 10 sayings of Aseres HaDibros that he got by Matan Torah. So we say that the Eibishter could create the Maimer Echad Yochad Lihi Boris. So there is one, and then there's details, and then from the details further, as the Rebbe will explain, you see there is this concept that in order for be able to creation to be, in order for Torah to be, it has to come down in a way of klal uprat. The Rebbe explains, Yuvon zeh, we'll understand it, Mimashemotzinu al derech zeh, gam bebrias ha'olam. We find a similar way also that it's klal uprat, the way the Eibishter created the world. What's the connection between Torah and the world? We're saying because we find by the Torah, because the truth is that istakel beir aisu bar alma. It says in the Zohar, the Eibishter looked on the Torah, created the world. So since in Torah it's klal uprat, but the Rebbe brings out now, that's the way also creation is klal uprat. Shahoiso be'oifon the klal uprat, that it was in a way of a klal uprat. The Amr Razal, our sages say, as Masorem Mamoris Nivra Ha'olam Chulu. The world was created with 10 sayings. B'maimer Echod Yochel Boris. Then the Mishnah says that it could have been created, or in a sense, it is created with one saying at a higher level. Which saying are we talking about that the Eibishter could have created? That's the word Breishis. V'yodua, it's known, the Maimer Echod hu HaMaimer de Breishis. The one saying that the Eibishter would include everything would be Breishis. The saying of Breishis. The Breishis nami Maimer, because Breishis, even though it doesn't say by Daber, Elekim, that Hashem spoke like all the other Maimoris, where it says, the Eibishter says, Yehira Kia, Yehira, all the sayings. But the Gemara says that Bereshis is also a Maimer. It's also a saying, even though it doesn't say by Daber, but it's also a Maimer. So this is the first of the 10, because actually in the Psukim you only have 9. The 10th is Bereshis. That Maimer of Bereshis is the general that can create everything. Shuhu Maimer Kloli, that is a general saying. Shekoilul Tes HaMamoris Shel Achrov, which includes the 9 sayings that follow. The Zehu Mashekosuv, this is what the Pasuk says, the Breishis Bara Lekim, Eis HaShamayim ve'Eis HaOretz. In the beginning, Elekim created both. It says Shamayim and Oretz, the heavens and the earth. Basically, Eis HaShamayim ve'Eis everything. In that Breishis, everything was included. V'amar Razal, our sages say, a blessed memory say, Es HaShamayim l'rabis tzvaim ve'es ha'oretz l'rabis tzvaeho. It says Eis HaShamayim. It doesn't say Breishis bara Lekim HaShamayim v'Ha'oretz, but it says Eis HaShamayim ve'Eis ha'oretz. That ve'Eis includes all things of Shamayim, all things of Oretz. Everything is included. That means that the Maimer of Breishis bara, when the Eibishter creates, that creates everything. Shekol hanivroim nishavu mehamaimer de Breishis. All of creations came from the Bereshis. Eis Shemaim Soretz. Liyoisei Mamer Kloli Shekoilos Kol Hamamoris. Because that is the general Maimer, which includes all other saying. But what? Elo Shahoyu Bibchinas Klal. They were all in a general way in the Maimer of Bereshis Bara. The other Maimorim were in a general way included in the Maimer. V'achar kach nifrat ha-Maimer, the Bereshis. Then the saying of Bereshis has been detailed b'hates Mamoris shel Acharov, in the 9 sayings that follow the saying of Bereshis. V'al yidei zeh nasu hanivroim b'bchinas ischalkus protim. Through detailing in the 9 Mamoris, the created being became separated as details instead of winning one chunk from Bereshis, everything together. It was detailed, and everything is its own of the 9 sayings that follow the Bereshis. And the same thing the Rebbe is going to bring out is true in the higher levels as well. That also in the higher as well levels, there is the general creation in the root, and then there is the details of it. And the Rebbe is getting at is also here, why do we need general and details? Why can't we just go to the details straight? Just as it is in the 10 sayings, as they have been extended actually and revealed, b'sfiras hamalchus, that is in the level of malchus that we have the 10 sayings, the asora mamoris in malchus, shehamaimer, the Bereshis umaimer kloli shekoilol kol hamamoris, that the saying of Bereshis is a general maimer which includes all other 9 sayings. Al derech zehu b'shorsham. Similarly, it's also in the root of the 10 sayings. Ba'eser sefiris, in the 10 sefiris. Shehamaimer, the Bereshis hu klal. In the 10 sefiris, the maimer of Bereshis, when we translate the 10 sayings, each saying is one sfira. The first saying is chokhmah, the second saying is bina. So when we say in the 10 saying in the Sfiras, Shehamaimer de Bereshis uklal, the saying of Bereshis is a rule. It's a general. It's a general, not a specific. And there is various different levels in which we say what the Bereshis is. The Betargum Yerushalmi Isa Bereshis Bechuchmoso. In the Yerushalmi Talmud, it says Bereshis means the level of Chochmah. Chuchmoso with Chochmah. Shahachochmah hi klal shekaleles kol hasfiris. Over there, Chochmah is the general, which includes all the following 9 spheres. So that makes Bereshis Chochmasa the klal. That's according to the Targum Yerushalmi. Targum Onkelos Isa, in Targum Bereshis means Bekadmin, in the earliest. Bekadmin, it's like by Odom Kadmod is the earliest, Vahainu, Horotzoin de Keser. That refers to the Bereshis, the Rotzoin in the level of Keser. Rotzen Shalamaylam HaChochma, which is higher than Chochma. Higher than Chochma, Va'ad, Lemachshove HaKeduma, the Odom Kadmin. Dak, until all the ways, the Rotzen, Bereshis, the Rotzen is the earliest thought of Odom Kadmin. Shehu HaRotzen HaKloli HaKlolus HiShtalshlus. That is the general want of Hashem for the whole Hishtalshlus as a whole. That's the level of that rotzen, keser and machshava agdum dat. Ulamaila yoiser, and going even higher, harotzen livrei ha'olamais k'moshu lifnei atzimtzum. The desire, Hashem wished to create the world as it was before the tzimtzum. Shu b'chinas klal, that is a level of a general, even when you measure it relative to the machshava duma da'ak, which is a klal for chukmasa, for the Esesphiris, but the level of the rotzin livra ilmes lifnei atzimtzum is a klal for machshava duma. The lifnei atzimtzum gufa, and also in lifnei atzimtzum itself, yesh gam ken klal uprat. The Rebbe is just going through all the levels. They go higher and higher. It's all klal uprat. It's gamke klal uprat. After it went up in his want to create hishtalshalus, shir ba'atzmei bekoyach kol mashe osid liyes bepoil. Hashem estimated by himself potentially everything that is destined to be in actuality. So there was Allah b'ritzoyna, he wants to create a world. After the Eibishter is wanting to create the world, he imagined by himself everything that's going to be in the poil. The rotzin is the klal, and that which he was estimated, the shir, that's the prat. The rotzin v'hashora, hey bechinas klal uprat. Rotzin and the hashora, the want, it's a general. Hashora, that's already the prat. It's a bechinas klal uprat. Okay, akoponim, what do we see? The way the world was created was also everything included in Breishis. Breishis as the main saying of creation. According to Breishis, the Targum Yerushalmi, Breishis is Chochma, or it's Rotzen, all the ways up to Lifnei HaTzimtzum, it is all Klal Uprat, V'nimtzo. So it turns out, the Kamoy Sham Shochad the Torah B'chinas Klal Uprat B'kam V'kam Adargis, just as the Torah extends is in a way of a general and a detail in many levels, Kinal, Al Derech Zeh, Hu B'ham Shochad the Olamis. So a similar way, it's also as it comes, the world comes down into creation. She B'chinas Klal Uprat V'kama V'kama Dargis, it also comes in a general and a detail in many steps. So the question is, just like we asked before by the Torah, why did the Torah have to come down in a general way and then details? Why doesn't it come down in details? The same question we have on the creation of the world. Why is it created in a way, first in a general, and then it gets detailed? Why not create in the details? So over here too, we need to understand. The Eibishter's intent by creating the world was that there should be detailed, created beings, divided, separated. And this intent of being separate, individualized, detailed creations, that was the reason, the cause for that arousal of the desire lifnei hatzimtzum bichdei sheyimshach mimeno achar kach, so that later on should extend from the rotzen aydei ribu ishtalshalus through many involvement asorim amori protim, 10 specific saying, Shemahem Yisavu Nivroim Protim, from them shall be brought into being detailed creation. That was all the ways, all to the beginning was the details. The Eibishter wanted to create individualized specific creation. V'im kain, haya tzarich lichyos l'chayra, his oiris harotzim melachatchila. So then, the arousal of the rotzim from to begin with should have been bechinas prat, in a way about detail, but oifun sheyiyah efshel liyes mimenu his havus nivroim protim kifi hakavonis, in a way that it should be possible that from that rotzin there should be individualized creation as the intent was. The intent was for nivroim protim, so that should have been in the rotzin. Why was the rotzin first in a general way, and then it comes down to all the details as the process as it goes through from Allah b'rtzoyneh shir ba'atzmei, and then we have machshava gduma da'ak, and then you have the rotzin kloli, and you have chokhmah. All of these keser. Why not have the rotzin directly for the purpose? The kavanah is the protim. That should have been the rotzin. And the Rebbe will explain now that it's only the hamshocher that can come down is only in such a way. So the Rebbe brought out, just like in Torah, it's klal and prat. The same thing, the creation of the world is klal and prat. And the Rebbe is asking, side by Torah and side by the creation of the world, what is the purpose? Why was it necessary to come down in a way, first in a klal and then in a prat? Okay, and we'll be mamshich next time. Be'ezer Hashem.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.